Hey guys, welcome back to Cardboard. In today's video, we'll be talking about floor pricing and the issues I see people making that are costing them a lot of money. So people spend hours looking up sold listings, comparing prices, checking TCG comps, eBay, and they still end up pricing their cards wrong. Here's the thing. The goal isn't to get the highest price possible for a single card. If you list a card for $1,000 and it doesn't sell, what good is that card doing you? The real goal is to get the highest price that actually sells for that card. So yes, you can go a little bit of a markup and you want to make money and sell the card, but you want to sell it. You don't want that card to sit in your inventory. You can, if you sell the card, you can flip it into more inventory. If you're way over and it's sitting in your inventory, it does you no good. Now, if you're a whale and you can afford to have cards sit, great. Then you it doesn't matter for you. But a lot of people can't, myself included. I want cards to move. I don't want them to sit in my inventory for months or years. So that's kind of today's video, getting the floor price, how I use it in my own business, and why it's one of the biggest reasons I can list cards faster and make money, and I know what my money is going to be consistently off every order without even looking at the specifics of the order. So if you guys like the content and are trying to grow your own business, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and join the Cardboard Discord. All the links will be down below. We're talking buying collections, selling online, everything TCG business every single day. So let's jump into it. So what is a floor price? So a floor price, a lot of people overcomplicate it. In simple terms, it is the lowest price you're willing to sell a card for. That's it. So for me, my floor price on average is $2. I am been experimenting with common Pokemon cards at just not even hollows, just at $1.79 to see how that goes, with the hope that those sell in bundles of a lot more, people coming to buy 5, 10, 15 of them. I'm not saying cheapest listing on eBay or the cheapest listing on TCG Player. This is your minimum, what you will take, not what I would take, not what somebody else would take, not what your Uncle Joe would take, none of that stuff. It's what you will take for your business and what the numbers make sense for you. I can tell you what I do, but for your business, that might not make sense. You might be able to go lower, you might go higher. So you got to look at your own business and your own numbers. Just because someone else wants to race to the bottom doesn't mean you have to join them there as far as pricing. You don't have to do that. Every business has costs. For us, the big ones are shipping, supplies, fees, your time. Your time is valuable. Storage, and opportunity costs and operation costs. So software, ads, whatever you may be running in your business, that kind of stuff. If you don't know your floor price and you're just guessing, that's not sustainable. That's not going to help you. You want consistency. I see this all the time, and when I was vending, I saw this even more. Someone looks up a card. The cheapest listing is $2.99. Instead of asking, okay, why is it $2.99? They'll go on and list it for $2.98. Then someone else comes along, and it's $2.97, $2.96, $2.95, so on and so forth, and then it just goes down, and nothing changes. Before you know it, everyone's making less money. This happens constantly with Pokemon, Magic, One Piece, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They're just chasing the cheapest sale so they can just keep moving and keep making little money. Like on TCG Player, I'm sure you guys see it. You see people that literally will sell cards for a penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies, 5 cents, whatever it may be. And the thing to me is, I don't know how that's sustainable as a business. It takes one person who just needs inventory to come to that shop and clean them out and order 1,000 cards. They're losing money because you get the shipping charge one time. If your shipping is $1.49 on TCG Player and someone orders 1,000 cards and you're at 3 or 4 cents minimum for a card, that's 30 to $40 before fees and before you have to put it in probably a box at that point, and then all that other stuff. So that gets the sales, and that hurts your business. That's a big loss as far as you're not very profitable on that. I don't even know how you would be with your time. To me, that just seems like a horrible decision. Sometimes people think the cheapest sale is the best way to go. That's not always the case. Most buyers aren't sorting by lowest price and instantly buying the first item they see. Now, if you're on TCG Player, I'd say that's more true than on eBay. eBay, it's not necessarily always filtered by price. They just type in whatever card they're looking for, and you'll see it fluctuate so much. TCG Player, it's more kind of fluctuating by price. On eBay, you have more freedom to stand out because you can have pictures, your titles, all that stuff. Getting into that. So on eBay, people are looking at your seller feedback, your photos, shipping speed, combined shipping, card condition, how professional your store looks. There's so many things that factor in besides price. Now, a TCG player, you can't stand out. You can't be different. They're just going to look, hey, your card is $1.99 and someone's got it for $1.50. They're going to go with that guy for $1.50. On eBay, you can have good photos, good scans. Your reviews matter. Your shipping speed. Your shipping speed on might be a day versus the guy who's 3 days or 4 days, whatever it might be. That stuff matters, and how professional your shop matters. Reviews are everything. When you're starting out, even if you have to take a little bit of a loss and bend over backwards for people to get them reviews, do it. eBay has the automated feedback, which is great now to build up, but you also want as many good positive feedbacks from people with human actual reviews. That makes a difference. People look at it and they can see, oh, hey, this guy actually left a solid review and not just the eBay automatic feedback. So let's kind of think about it this way. Let's say there are 10 copies of a card. The cheapest one is $4. Yours is $4.25. Do you think every buyer is going to ignore your card because you're 25 cents over? Probably not, and I can tell you no, because I have sold cards that are much more expensive than some of other people's listings. And you can just go on the filter by sold and see, hey, $2, $3, $5. The fluctuation is crazy on eBay. And I've seen people who sell cards for more than what I do, and I'm looking like, okay, I thought I got a lot at $5, but this guy got $9. How does that work? Now, imagine your listing, kind of what I got into, has faster shipping, great feedback, amazing scans, pictures are everything. You have great pictures of the front and back. You have good packaging, so the card gets there safe, and hundreds, if not thousands, of completed sales and thousands of cards sold. That builds trust with them without even buying from you, and that will get them to buy from you, knowing that this guy has more trust. They have more trust in you, and trust has value. People will spend the extra money for that. People care about reviews. They care about subscribers. Like touching on YouTube a little bit. Why is someone going to watch my video on YouTube if I have 106 subscribers right now versus someone who's got 1,000? Why is someone going to watch that video with 1,000 over someone that has 10,000, and so on and so forth? People tend to go towards people that have more reviews, more subscribers, more followers, whatever it may be. That's kind of how people go. So kind of my floor price strategy and how I look at it. So kind of getting into my general prices of what I pay. For Pokemon and Magic, I'm generally at 70% of market price. I try not to go 70% of TCG low. I try to be at market price law free. I'm in an area where that's very competitive for Magic. That's very competitive for Magic. I'm paying the highest in my area for Magic. Pokemon, that's pretty standard. And I might have to end up raising that a little bit to get more people selling to me. But for Pokemon bulk, I pay $20 per 1,000. That's 2 cents a card. Hollows and reverse hollows, I pay about $50 per 1,000. It's a little high, but I'm able to resell it to my buyer and make money off of it, so it works for me. So I don't necessarily care if I'm paying higher on that. Magic bulk, I'm normally paying $10 per 1,000. Sometimes it's harder out there, so I'll get paid $20 per 1,000. I have a bulk buyer, so it doesn't necessarily matter to me. I would rather pay 10, but if I have to pay 20, it's no big deal. Yu-Gi-Oh! I pay, there's a local shop. I get 5, 10, 15,000 basically whenever I want. No big deal. I pay $10 per 1,000. There'll be rares and stuff in there. They just throw that stuff in for me. One Piece, 10 to $20 per 1,000. And then when you start getting the higher rarities for Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or One Piece, that's all depends on the situation, how many they have, what sets, and all that kind of fun stuff. That's how that works for me. Now, Pokemon, you have people who have flat bulk rates for EXs and Vs, V-Stars, V-Maxes. All that is going to depend on where you're at in your situation. Because, like, for me, there's a shop that will give you 75 cents cash for any EX or V that's near mint in English, or $1 of in-store credit. So that's hard to compete with, and a lot of people know it's a very prominent shop in the area because of their pricings on stuff like that. So I'm not going to tell you prices on that because that's more very dependent on your situation and where you're at and what you need. So that depends on where you're at. So what I kind of do, how I do my math, is I'm not thinking about every card when I'm buying a lot of 10, 20,000 cards. I'm thinking about the average of, hey, okay, I spend $100 on this collection. I charge $2. I make 50 cents an order. this is how I need to sell this many cards to pay for, and this much of the rest is profit. I go through on eBay, your fees are about 13%. Now, when you're top rated, I'm not there yet. I will be here in a week, and we'll go over that in another video. But then you take 10% off that, so you'd be right about 12% in fees. And then your listing speed. So if you are manually doing it, your floor price is going to probably be higher because you can't go through a lot of cards as quickly, not nowhere near the speed. So how quick can you list the cards? What is shipping going to cost? How do you ship? Now, do you ship in a number 6 envelope or a number 10 envelope? Are you using top loaders, card savers? What is your shipping method? That's going to add a cost to it. Now, you want to be cheap, but you also want the card to get there safely. How do you do that? Now, if you, depending on how you ship and what you're using, your price is going to be different. So that's going to have to factor into your floor price. Now, do you have combined shipping? Do you make the buyer pay shipping and then charge them a little bit extra per item they get? I don't charge shipping on any of my items except comic books. I'm going to have to, but for cards, I don't charge shipping. That's built into the floor price. So I math it out that a card that I'm selling for $2, I'm paying 74 cents for the shipping label. eBay is going to take 13% of the $2 and a 30-cent flat fee. And then I'm going to pay about 16 cents for shipping supplies. That's envelope, penny sleeve, top loader, paper, label, all that fun stuff. I'm left with about 50 cents for a 1-card order. And that's kind of how I price it. That's my minimum floor price. And that's acceptable to me, and I'm okay with that with the orders I get. Now, I have played with it and try to raise it, but that also lowers your sales. So you got to find where. Now, that doesn't mean your floor price on everything has to be $2. You can have your hollows floored at $2.49 and your base cards at $2 or whatever it may be. And so we'll kind of go over my pricing in a little bit here, but it doesn't matter to me if the market's below that card. Sometimes I simply just wait, and when it sells, it sells. Or I'll bundle it, I'll put it in lots, I'll save it, whatever it might be. I'll use it for promotions. So with cards, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. It doesn't need to be sold immediately if it's a bulk card. Now, a higher, like what I talked about earlier, you don't want to list a card for the highest amount you can get and just never sells. On higher end stuff, that's very true. Especially if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of capital. You need that stuff to move. Not every bulk card needs to sell. If you're having 30,000 listings, you're not selling every card right away. That's just not how it goes. Just because you own a card doesn't mean you have to sell it today. That's okay you don't need all of them sales. You don't need to chase every penny. That's the thing. So kind of how I do my prices. $2 is floor, and then that is for anything 50 cents or under. 51 cents to $1. I'm basically going up 50 cents every 50 cents, essentially is what I'm doing. So 51 cents to $1 is going to be $2.50. $1 to $1.50 is going to be $3. And then I'll do that up to about $4 to $5 depending on what it is. And then after that, I will apply a flat markup for whatever the value is. So if a card's $10, I might mark it up to $13. That markup depends on the game. If it's Magic or Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, what you can charge varies on that. Pokemon, you can have a higher premium on it and sell it for more. I mean, there's people out there that go double. And there's different ways to look at it. You can set it higher and then take an offer, or you can set it to, a little lower and that's what you sell it for. It depends on your business and what you're buying at and how much profit you want to make. Because if you're buying at 70%, after fees and shipping and everything, you'll make about 15% profit if you're selling at 100% of market. Now, that's why people sell for over and they'll have a markup, because you're 10% over, 20% over. That's going right in your back pocket. That helps you grow, that speeds it up. You don't need to chase every penny. A mistake I see others make, and I made this mistake myself, is constant repricing. Now, if you're experimenting and trying to get data and repricing to see how high you can push your floor price, because there's a graph there. You can see, okay, hey, my floor price is $2.49. I'm making more per orders, but then generally you're getting less orders. That's how that normally works out. You can find the sweet spot to where it works for you, where you're not shipping out 50 orders a day. Now you might be only shipping out 30, but your profit is the same because you upped the floor price. So you can, like, that is a good thing to do to get data and see. But you don't want to just randomly be repricing without anything in mind. And if you're repricing, you need to give it time. Give it a week, give it 2 weeks, see what happens. You can't just reprice it and then in 6 hours see you get no sales and then just kill it. That's not giving you any data. That's not giving you anything to look at to review or understand. There's no data there to see because it could just be a bad day on eBay too. Like I can sell $100 one day and $10 the next day. eBay's like that, so you got to give it time. I see people reprice their cards sometimes daily, or they stress about it and they'll lower their price by 5 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents. They're spending more time repricing their listings than they are building new inventory or listing new inventory. Your business would grow faster if you list more cards instead of worrying about changing your price by 5 cents, 10 cents. That's not going to make that big of a difference. Listing more inventory, growing that catalog where people can come to your shop and see that you have all these different cards, that's what gets you constant sales. Not constantly repricing, constantly listing. You always want to be listing. Always listing. Every day. Every single day. Not constantly replacing. Focusing on listing more. Focusing on getting better pictures. Better quality listings. So have the description, card uploader. You can put a custom description in there. Description that will go in every one of them for you automatically. Stuff like that to stand out, getting better branding for your shop. Focus on that. That will lead to sales. People will pay higher for that. Like, think about you go to a ball game, a football game, baseball. You go get a hot dog, beer, pizza, whatever it may be. You're paying astronomically more money for that than you know what it's worth. You know what that's worth, and you're still paying 5, 6, 7 times the price. Or you go to a movie theater for popcorn. What are you paying for a bucket of popcorn at the movie theater? 10 times, 15 times the price when you can throw a bag in the microwave for what, 20 cents at home? So you're paying that price, so why wouldn't people do that on eBay? And the thing with eBay too is if you're at $2, $3, most people will spend that without even blinking at it. Though, they go to Starbucks and spend $10 a morning for coffee. They're not caring about the $2, $3 card. They don't care. They'll buy it. It does not matter to them. If they want it, if people want something, they will buy it. Like Magic, the most random cards will sell because they need it for a deck. If they want it or they need it for something, they will buy it. The pricing comes a lot into it when you're talking about bulk. Bulk isn't about squeezing every last penny out of a card. Now, you want to maximize profit, but you also want to maximize sales. Like I said, you got to find that sweet spot. It's about volume. And if you know your minimum profit, you know where you're at for profit and where you can list quickly. You don't have to overthink your prices. You know, you have it typed in, you're locked in on listing, you can go. You can process thousands of cards instead of hundreds. And that's where consistency comes from. Your pricing strategy has to match your business model. I don't know what your costs are. Maybe you have an office space. Maybe you have to pay for, I don't know what your business costs are. I don't know what you're paying for shipping. I don't know what you're paying for cards. I don't know any of that. I gave you kind of what my situation is. If you're a volume seller, you need systems that work. So you got to take out, do different floor prices, figure out, hey, after fees, I'm making this. What are my costs? And make sure you get the accurate cost of what you're getting. So, like with your shipping materials, make sure you're considering taxes. Make sure you're considering all these other things on that to know what you're getting. I have a lot of that stuff in my description. That is all affiliate links. So if you buy it, I will get a little bit of something back from it. But those are generally the cheapest ones that I've found, or ones that I think are cheap but also have good quality. Because, like I said, you want to ship cheaply, but you want it to get there safely. That's the big thing. It doesn't. If you're saving a penny a top loader, that's great. But if they're just trash and you're getting cards damaged, it only takes a couple orders to make that savings not worth it. So, kind of in conclusion, stop trying to beat every seller by 1 penny. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about what you're doing. If my prices are under yours, so be it. That's not going to end your business, especially on eBay. Stop trying to beat everybody. Instead, figure out your prices and lock in on that. Know your costs, know your profit, know your business. Because once you know these numbers, pricing becomes easy. You spend less time worrying, and you actually will grow your business. Pricing and knowing your numbers are the big things. Knowing your costs of the business. What are your costs to do business? What are you spending on software? What are you spending on ads? What are you spending on all these different things? What is your budget for supplies? What are you spending? What are you monthly? What are you paying for supplies? Equipment. So do you have your scanner, or are you looking to upgrade that? That all factors into what are you spending? What are all your expenses? That all that stuff matters. And once you write that down and you know all your expenses, you know what you're paying, you have a clear graph of what you're paying for everything. I give you my prices, but in your market, that might be higher, it might be lower. I do not know your market. I don't know what people pay by you. So if you need to figure that out, what I did is I called all the local shops by me and I simply asked them, hey, what do you buy at? Most shops would tell you right off the bat, oh yeah, hey, we buy at 60%, we buy at 70%, 80, whatever it might be. Go on Facebook and look at what people in their posts are putting on on Marketplace. Buying Pokemon at 60 to 80%. Most of the time, if they're putting, X percent to X percent, they're not normally ever buying at that higher percent. So just keep it, keep that in mind. If they're saying they're buying from 60 to 80%, they're probably not really buying an 80% hardly ever, unless it's like a Grail card. So keep stuff like that in mind, but that's something you can research in an hour, figure out what people are buying. Instead, you want to stay competitive. You don't want to overpay, but you want to stay competitive so you can get inventory. If you have to overpay at the beginning, you have to overpay. But if you don't have inventory, you're not going to make money. So you got to kind of find that sweet spot. So that's about it for me, guys. So if you guys enjoyed the video, once again, this is just, me filming the journey of building Cardborn from the ground up and how I expand and how I do things. And if you guys have any kind of questions, concerns, leave a comment below. Let me know, how do you guys currently price your cards? Do you always match the lowest listing? Do you have your own pricing strategy? Is there something I missed that you guys like, well, hey, I do things this way and it makes more sense to me? If you guys have a way of doing it that I didn't mention or you think is better, or any kind of comments, feedback, anything, I'd love to hear it, because my way of doing it is not the best. It's what works for me, but I know there's probably a better way to do it out there. And if one of you guys has any suggestions or feedback, please let me know. We got the Discord down below. It's growing. We're getting a couple people every day. So if you guys would like to join, that's a community we're building for collectors, players, sellers, everyone, to get the TCG hobby going. So that will have a place for everyone. Whatever you're into for TCG, we have it. And if we don't, we will add it. So make sure you guys join. All the links are below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.